Hello everyone. In this lecture, we are going to see how to prepare mechanical data sheet by taking inputs from PV Elite. Our flagship courses are Master Static Equipment Design and PVE Lite, ASME Section 8 Division 2, and Master Welded Storage Tank, as per API 650. We have curated courses to suit your learning needs, so do visit our learning platform for more details on scutoid.thinkific.com.
So this is the cover page, logo of client, project number, okay, document number, all this will be coming here. So one will be logo of client, and consultant means your company. So your company and client. If before project starts, we create a template for that project, so you don't need to be worried about creation of the template. Tag number, very, very important. With that equipment is identified in the PNID. Okay, this is the description, prepared by, checked by, and approved by. No doubt in that. We maintain the revision logs to make it easier to know what was changed in that revision, basically. Hold, if any things are on hold, we write it here so that people know who are using it, that this is still on hold, not finalized. So we'll not take it as face value. Now this is the data from where actually your input starts. Okay. This data sheet is applicable for what? Whether it is getting prepared for inquiry, just to get that quotation, it is for purchase. If we are in a feed stage, we may send it only for budgetary inquiry. If we are in detailing stage, we may send it for purchase. Okay. Before, first they will send the quotation definitely, but the purpose will be like, it is finalized stage, so they will be using it as a complete data. Here you'll also get whether it is horizontal. If it's horizontal, then only one option, saddle. If it's vertical, then skirt and leg may be the options. Okay. ASME Section 8 Division 1. These are all the inputs which is there in the process data sheet we have taken. Operating pressure is not that important for us, but anyway, we have to fill that. Density, if 3 are written, you have to also write all the 3 by using stroke. Capacity, we can get that capacity directly in PV Lite. You know that? How to get that capacity in meter cube in PV Lite? See it. Let us say I open a test separator done by one of you. Now I'll, like this is the element for which I want that detail. Okay. Descent. Okay. You want to know the capacity of this descent. So I'll go with this element properties. Can you see that? Element properties, hand. Here, if you'll see all the items, left descent, what is the corroded weight? What is the new weight? Volume. Okay, that is the capacity. So corroded volume, new volume. Okay, and also the surface area, which will be required for painting. Sometimes we have to give output for painting. What is the surface area? So instead of calculating, you can just get it directly from here. Yes. So the volume, if you see, the new volume is 1,30,000 liters. So what will be in meter cube? If it is 130,000, 1 meter cube is 1,000 liter, right? So it will be 130. Now, see whether that is correct. Sorry. So 129, 130. Okay. Got it. So that is how we see the capacity. So better to write it as a geometrical capacity, Abhishek. Okay. So you can change this. This may be the typical data sheet. Okay. And if you want to write operational also, you can make it like, stroke. The other value also, if you want to write that, some capacity will be given by the process, so that will be kind of operational. So you just write stroke and write that also. Both you can write. Crochinal ions, MDMT. MDMT also, there are two MDMTs. There is service MDMT and material MDMT. So which one you want to write, that you have to write. That's service or material. Joint efficiency, radiography, shell and head, post-weld heat treatment, yes. Insulation, fireproofing. Why this? What do you mean by fireproofing? See, if there is proximity of fire propagating from ground, we try to isolate the equipment from ground by doing this fireproofing. So what we do in that, the saddle we cover in fireproofing material. It's very similar to clay. So just imagine that there is saddle, steel saddle. Now you have covered that completely from outside with clay. So if any fire coming, that will act as a barrier. It will not allow it to propagate to the vessel. Yeah. So that is the reason for fireproofing. Painting, external, yes. Internal, not applicable. Okay. Pickling and passivation will be only required when it is stainless steel material. Inspection by TPI, third party inspector. Code stamp, if use stamp is required, then we'll write use stamp. Wind and seismic data. Now here we have empty weight, operational weight, and hydrostatic weight. Okay. So 22 ton, 136 is operating, 151 is the hydro. Okay. Miscellaneous, see, internal, in thing separator only wear plate is there, right? So for that, it's better to calculate weight. You don't need to even mention it because very, very small fraction. Internals, when we provide, when there is a big internals coming, typically that internal weight, the internal will be supplied by some internal vendor, because these internals are very specific many times. Okay. Not in this case, but in other cases, if there are internals available, they may be based on some technology. So that is typically provided by a vendor. So you may have to write by vendor. And then once you get the drawing and weight from there, you update it. That is the typical process. Yeah. So shell material NACE SA516. So we don't write it like that. You write SA516 grade 70. And then in bracket, you write NACE. Okay, typically that is how we write. You can write in, whatever you want. So you'll have to see what is the philosophy getting followed in your company so that it does not look different. Pipes 106. Nozzle necks fabricated 516. Very right. RF pad 516. 105. Flanges support 2062. Nameplate 316L. Okay. Internals, if it's there, then you have to mention. If it is not, see, if it's a wear plate only, it will be carbon steel. Okay, it will not be SS. So you need to write only when you know the material. If you don't know, just write as a dash. You don't need to fill it. So never fill the data which you are not sure of. That is the one thing which you have to do, because this becomes a guideline for the person who is referring. He may not be thinking much. So if you're not confident on any data, don't mention. That is the best way. Just write dash. Yeah. So whenever you have something like that, so because if internal bolting, if it is not applicable, then why you need to mention that material? It will be just dash. Just write it like dash. You don't have to mention anything. So nozzle bolting. Okay. For if it is NES, then typically your, have you guys noticed in specification something was given for material? Nozzle, yes, M. So instead of B7, it will be B7M, which will be applicable. 194 grade 2H. Anything related to nut? Whether any different material was there or same thing was there. You'll have to see the specification. Just check that and tell me what is the value given for that. So gasket, spiral wound gasket, 4.5 thick. If there is inner and outer ring, you have to mention that. What is the material of inner and outer ring? That also you have to mention. Demister pad, if it's there, then only you have to write. If not there, then don't need to write. But I think in the nozzle, it was outlet nozzle, it is there. 2HM, right? So here also M is applicable. Okay. So you have to be careful with that. Great. Now we'll go to nozzles. We'll see briefly. N1 nozzle, 14-inch, schedule 60, thickness, flange rating, WNRF, and then whatever pad width and thickness. Okay. So try to keep this width in a rounded value. And 700.2 does not make any sense for fabrication. Okay, so just write it as 712 or 715. Okay. And it is the width. So now, see if it is 14-inch and you want to make it from plate, then what you'll be doing? For schedule, you will write none. Here you can write the dimension of ID. Typically, once you are making a cylinder, we prefer ID, So ID we will write, and then here also will, let us say, I don't know what is the value, but let us write if it's 355. Okay. Now here also we'll write ID, and here actual thickness, whatever thickness you are providing, that you write. So that will become a plate now. Okay. Material also SA 516-870. So it is plate. Okay. So that is how we do. With RF pad of nozzle, if nozzle is passing with low pad width than 2D, then can we, if it is passing and before that, see, OD 2 times diameter is the maximum limit. Okay. Now, if you remember, apart from the pad, there are lots of other thicknesses participating and contributing towards the reinforcement. So in that case, we may be able to qualify with less width. So whatever you are qualifying, that you have to write. Okay. You don't have to go with maximum W. You have to find the minimum W. Whatever you are qualifying, by using PV light, same width you should reflect there. Okay. Great. Now, so mentioned width here, if you are making it from plate, size, if you're writing 14-inch, okay, then thickness, just write the 12 thick or 14 thick like that. Okay. Projection, why you have kept at hold? Any reason for keeping? Typically, if nothing has been given for us as projection, we can follow the EL standard. Okay. With that, we can maintain whatever projection is required. So mention that if anybody has to change it, then they can request. So based on your understanding, it should be there. Okay, all other things I know you guys will be able to put. So nothing much there. Notes, you have to be very, very careful. This is the ignored part typically, but it's very, very much important. painting shall be done as per project painting specification. If I'm writing that and giving to vendor, I need to give painting specification also. Okay. CG. So this will come when you are giving this to the vendor to make GA drawing. Okay. So we are telling them to mark CG for empty and operating condition. Okay. If you are the vendor itself, you are the manufacturer, then don't write this. Okay. So always go through these standard notes. You may have to add some notes, you may have to delete some notes. Okay. So lifting lug shall be provided on the vessel. This only when you write when you want vendor to do it. Okay. If you have designed and you want him to make that lifting lug as per that, you have to give the dimensions. Okay, and this will not come. So local load analysis and all, paying fastener to numbers. Okay, so you just go through these notes. If anything is missing or anything extra, you can mention that. Okay. So typically, I have just told you to post this PV light, but this is when you're actually making a data sheet, you will have to make a sketch in AutoCAD and post it here. That sketch will be there, which will be indicating the thicknesses. Okay. See that complete information for fabrication should be there. Okay. If the saddle part also you're completely designed and just want him to follow that, then you can always mention the dimensions here. So once you are mentioning the dimension, that part will become input for the further activity. So he'll make as per that. Okay. So hope this data sheet part is clear to all of you. How we fill it? Okay, go one by one column and fill each and every data. If you are not sure of any data, don't fill it. Okay, don't fill it unless you are sure, because then that is where the biggest mistake comes from. Okay, and once you are asked, you cannot say that this was there already, or I have taken from data sheets, process data sheets. Whatever question you want to ask during preparation of this document. Once you have submitted, you are the person who have made it. You're responsible for each and every data which is there inside this document. Getting it? So you have to justify now. Now you won't be able to ask questions. They will ask question. You have to answer. Okay. So whatever you have to ask before giving this. During the preparation of this, whatever question you want to ask, not after submitting. No, that is the sign of good engineer.
For in-depth training and to learn more about these courses, register with the link in the description.